Irving haggles with a dwarf over the price of a customized shotgun, sealing the deal with the offer of a size-appropriate bandolier. The dwarf leaves heavy and Irving slots another black market crit stick into her stash. Welcome back, Issikisi. How can I help you? Business good? Business is booming as always. Booming. Oh, I get you, because you sell explosives. People like easy solutions, and they will pay good money for them. Guns are one way, booze and drugs another. This is why we sell what we sell. My son Callum doesn't understand this. He thinks he would be happier as some corporate drone. But I've been there, and I can say for certain that it's just a longer path to where we are now. It all ends with drinking and sometimes killing. At least we're direct about it. How'd you end up sending guns out of here? Back when my husband worked for Wuxing, he had a little side operation, smuggling weapons right under the corporation's nose. Strictly small time and barely worth the risk. But it brought in a little extra money, which we desperately needed. But Henry was never very good at brokering the deals. He hated that part of the business, didn't care to haggle, always leaving money on the table. We fought about it often, and one day he told me to handle it, if I cared so much, so I did. As it turned out, I was better at it. Much better. I had worked in the business world before the boys were born. I knew how these things must be done, so I began to make all the deals. I secured the product, I found the buyers. In time, we didn't even need Henry to babysit the shipments. Our influence had grown strong, and now we run everything safely from dry land. Alright, what's the problem with Callum? There's no problem, so long as he remembers his place is here. There are too many ideas in that boy's head, too much ambition, and ambition like that never leads to a good end. I mean, if you say so. He should be happy with what we have built for him. He's the eldest and so very smart. One day he'll take control of the club and all of its business, but he feels trapped here. He wants to be free. The irony is that his idea of freedom is to work for a corporation. I know from experience there is nothing further from the truth. They don't call you wage slaves without good reason. But here we have true freedom, we make our own way. Isn't he your wage slave? Like, if you're just kind of keeping him here against his will, and he's just working for you? Isn't he your wage slave? I wish he realized this. I tried to make him understand, but it only seems to drive him further away. I worry that if I try too hard, I'll lose him to his ambitions. And you can't talk to her about it. I mean, these stories, they're not that interesting, and they're not that interactive, and they just talk to you and you're like, okay, I guess that's your story. It's not like it's relevant to me, or to like our play, or to like not relevant to our character. And we don't get involved. Shen is busily engaged in a conversation with someone on the other side of a video call. The other individual appears to be a tremendously handsome elf, wearing an immaculate and undoubtedly pricey custom suit. Shen doesn't appear to notice you. I'm just saying, if the customs office gives me any more crap about importing those tiger snakes, I'm gonna be up the creek without a paddle. The elf nods, tilting his head back with a mischievous grin. Leave it to me. I have some friends in the customs house, and between that and their shoddy record keeping, I'm certain I can get your snakes out of quarantine. It'll take a day, maybe two. If it takes longer than that, it's because someone specifically doesn't like you. At long last, Shen seems to notice you. Hold on, Yang, I'll call you back. Got a customer here. No you don't, I'm not buying anything. Putting down the comm link, Shen bows. Hello again. What can Spider Shen do for you today? Who's the good-looking elf? He's my lawyer, Yang. Our lawyer, I should say. Since he's another Blue Lantern, and he's part of the same crew. Shen lifts a thin Chinese sword, turning it over so that the light glitters along the edge. I don't do a lot of things that are legal, in the strictest sense. It helps to have a good lawyer, you know? For most Shadowrunners, getting caught is the end of their career. Why not bribe the police? Why spend money you don't have to? If Yang can convince the police it's not worth their time to come after somebody, that's already cheaper than a bribe. What's more, it looks on the up and up to any cop that's dumb enough to pass on a bribe. What's more, it looks on the up and up to any cop that's dumb enough to pass on a bribe. He's gotten us out of more jams than I can recall. Alright. This one time we had to cause a big fuss and make sure it pointed at the Red Dragon Syndicate. We ran into one of their protection rackets and started causing all kinds of a fuss. Breaking windows, setting fires, roughing up patrons. Yang told us to wait and get arrested. Problem was there was a vice squad that really wanted us caught and thrown in jail. We'd embarrassed them a few times already. Shen chuckles quietly. Turns out he's used a Decker contact to make sure to swap a bunch of public recordings so that traffic cameras would conclusively show us somewhere else and arriving at the last minute. He also made sure the vice squad that arrested us was cited for failing to file the proper paperwork on a bunch of previous cases. The squad got canned. We got let go. It was a thing of beauty. Okay. Getting some new pets in? Shin frowns dourly. They're not pets. They're an investment. I can make anti-venom serums from them, or I can use the raw venom to accomplish tasks that would otherwise be too messy or loud. You do wet work for the Yellow Lotus? When the situation demands it. Normally I work for Grandfather Woe exclusively. Sometimes though, he asks me to do someone else a favor. Shem produces a needle from below the boat's table, casually flicking it off to the side. Glancing over, you can see that it's embedded halfway into a metal crate. I solve problems. I never know what the problem will be, so I have an array of tools at my disposal. It's like this. Yes, I can hurt people, but I can also heal them. I learned to heal with my medicine before I learned to hurt. When you learn how the body works, you learn how to break it as well as fix it. It's like a mechanic and a car engine. If you know how to fix it, you know how to disable it. I mean, okay. Like, how's it? The dialogue in this game is like, yeah, but how is it relevant to me? Right? It's like, okay, but how does this contribute to my story? I think what's her name? Crafty Zoo's story is probably the only thing that's gonna be relevant. Because we asked her to look into the dreams, right? Let's see if she's found anything yet. Immediately upon entering, you notice the clutter. Somehow the small magic shop is even messier than before. Stacks and stacks of books occupy chairs, tables, and the tops of shelves. There seems to be even more than when you first visited. It's as if you just entered a paper factory and it's spawning season. You peer around a precariously arranged tower of books and find Crafty hungrily reading one of her mother's journals. Red rings her eyes and tousled hair falls over her face. It looks like she hasn't seen the better part of a pillow in a couple of days. She moves to stretch and spots you. With a quick flick of her hand, she marks her place in the journal. What a welcome sight. Have you found anything? Not much. How about you? A slow smile spreads across her cheeks. She nods. This mind-numbing tedium is starting to pay off. Check this out. The dreams that everyone's having, they aren't really dreams, they're omens. From what I've gathered, we are walking a fine line here. They're pretty dangerous. Attempts to interpret them could lead to mixed results. What? Attempts to interpret them could lead to mixed results? What do you mean by omens? You know, omens. Harbingers of doom and gloom and bad things to come. Her mouth twists to the side as she thinks. Just a minute. Crafty opens a drawer behind the counter and brings out a dictionary, clears her throat. Omen. A sign that warns of future events by way of visionary creatures or hallucinations. She closes the book with a thump. What causes them? Apparently, these sorts of portents are commonly linked with malign places and disaster sites. They are caused by leakage through wounds between our world and the astral plane. What's causing these wounds? Can we stop it? I'm not sure we can. At least I haven't found anything about that in my mother's text yet. She lays a hand flat on the countertop and leans forward. We don't want to dive into this haphazardly, SDKZ. Remember, these omens can be dangerous. How are they dangerous? She holds up a finger and starts digging around for another text. After a moment, she locates a small notepad and flips to a dog-eared page. In here, it says these visions, or dreams, or whatever you want to call them, are real. They're open to interpretation, but interpreting them incorrectly can be disastrous. Astral space is a place of dream logic. Taking the things you see too literally can be even more dangerous than ignoring them. Sounds like the best outcome would be for us to interpret a dream correctly. Using that term loosely, yes, but there's no real correct way to interpret a dream, and it's difficult to separate the nonsense from the substance. Can you interpret the dreams? Crafty plunks the notepad on top of a nearby book tower. I can't help you interpret your dreams. Whatever they're trying to import, it's beyond me. Whatever they're trying to impart, they're beyond me. All I can do is keep reading. There has to be something in this library that can help us, something that's happening. Well, keep it up. Every bit helps. She stifles a yawn. Yep, I'm on it. Alright, let's look at your wares. Oh, we have upgrades. I don't have money though. Powerbolt 3. I currently have Powerbolt 1, is that right? I don't have anything really. I can sell these for 200 or so, 6, 7, 800. I need 1300 for the Powerbolt 3, which I definitely want. So this is your basic attack, and this is 13 damage. The one I have is Powerbolt 1, it's only 6 damage. It's only 6 damage. And then we have Lightning Bolt, upgraded Lightning Bolt, probably Ball Lightning. Fireball 2, Flamethrower 3. Oh, that requires Intelligence 3? Why does that require Intelligence 3? Acid Bolt 2. So, hold on. So 3s... The most powerful things we can get is 3s, right? Flamethrower 2 I can cast. Fireball Strip Armor. The one I have is Flamethrower 1. Imbued Hermetic Fetish. Oh, wait a minute. I can get this. This gets me an extra spell. Oh, wait, no, this is not intelligence. Never mind. I need 3 intelligence to get the new flamethrower. Alright, let me get some money. What are the gold guys doing? The 3 men are once again fixated on the game board. Jin rubs his hands together nervously, his face twisted in concentration. It appears that Shu now has the upper hand. The silence of the game is deafening. Amateur players will be filling the air with clicks and clacks of their stones against the wooden playing board, relentlessly trying to outdo one another. These men are different. Shu picks up a small black stone. His hand reaches over the board, then pauses. Jin stares at the outstretched hand, suddenly still. Shu begins to lower the stone. Down, down. Jin is practically on his toes, and then Shu pulls his hand back. Perhaps not there. He strokes his short beard thoughtfully. Jin tosses his arms into the air, nearly knocking over the playing board. Damn it, Shu, when you start a move, you commit to it. I swear, if you're doing this on purpose. Lao, friends. Lao interrupts the players. We have a visitor. The 2 players look up. Jin sighs and holds his face in one hand. Mutters something beneath his breath. Shu's eyes fix on you. He stares, unspeaking. His generous smiles and playfulness from before are absent. Sorry to interrupt, I was just wondering if you're all still having the dreams. This again? Don't you have anything better to do? Yes, we're all still having the dreams. Lau's voice is calm but troubled. However, they've gotten a hell of a lot worse. Jin shifts uncomfortably. Look, let's not go into detail. Anything would be great. He mouths this over. Alright, but afterwards you have to let us finish our game. Alright, sure. He nods approvingly, then glances at Lao and Shu before continuing. Our dreams have become unpleasant, so to say, darker, violent. He runs his hand along his lightly cropped beard. Not all that healthy if you ask me, especially for men of our age. We come out of them in a daze sometimes. Feels like we've been punched in the senses and the imagery. You can see him shiver as he thinks about it. Well, I said no details, so no details. That about sums it up, Shu. Master Lao. I have nothing more to add, Shu. Shu's eyes born to you. No, nothing. Is everything alright, Shu? You've been staring at me for a while. Shu continues to stare at you, his face pale. He opens his mouth, closes it. He seems to be struggling to find words. What's wrong with you, Shu? You better not be having a stroke. We're in the middle of a game. If Shu heard Jin, he doesn't show it. He looks at you, and his eyes widen. You need to go faster. His voice is urgent, pleading. The shadows that follow you are getting closer. Cool. Cool. Thanks, Shu. Well, I'm not gonna sleep tonight. Excuse us, SCKC. Our friend is tired. Lao claps a hand on Shu's shoulder, who doesn't seem to notice. These dreams have taken a toll on all of us. Please, come back some other time. Understood. Take care. That's really good. That's really good. Alright. Alright, the shadow's getting closer, you guys. Like the other dialogue, we don't give a crap. This stuff, every time they talk about the dreams, it's pretty good. Alright, what else do we have? There's nothing down here, right? The drone seller, reliable Matthew. A hopper drone loiters in front of Matthew. A stream of profanity is spewing from it, from its scratchy speakers. People nearby are looking away, ignoring the awkward situation. Matthew's cigarillo is dead, drenched by rain. He stands with his signature nonchalance, but the edges of his face are twitching. His eyes are wide with fear. You could listen in, but you've already got the gist. Matthew is being chewed out. Listen in. Flying drone. A sharp voice emits from the hover drone, interspersed with static crackles. Don't pick up the sails. You're going to be digging dog shit out of tire treads for a living. You got me? Reliable Matthew stutters a response. Hey, Quing Ha. Come on, beautiful. I've got a half a dozen hot leads coming in just today. Don't give me your cheap hustler shtick, loser. If you don't push tin, you and your fuzzy little pals are gonna be living in a cardboard box. Don't worry, beauty. I wanna hear yes sir. If I hear anything else, I'm gonna pull your eyes down to your ass so you can watch me kick the crap out of you. You hear me? Yes sir. Matthew's voice is barely a whisper. What was that? He says it louder. Yes sir. That's better. Now don't screw this up, you damn screw up. The drone's speakers finish with a shriek of feedback and clack back into its hull. The drone soars up into the sky and races upriver. Matthew shakes himself off. His cheery demeanor surges back with striking resilience. He turns towards you, a little wild-eyed but otherwise restored to his usual self. I thought he was like he was self-employed. He's got a boss? SCKC, I hardly saw you there. Come on in, don't be a stranger, beautiful. Who were you talking to through the hover drone? One of my suppliers, Quing Ha. Really good businessman, sharp guy, sees opportunity where most of us only see broken parts. Funny guy, makes me laugh my ass off. Quang Ha sounded unhappy. Oh, that's just Quang Ha. He's like a paper tiger. Matthew sways back and forth on his feet, languid and jittery at the same time. He's a big joker, always shouting, but I think he's a real softy at heart. Real big heart for the little people, keeps me well stocked. Matthew needs to like, he's going a little too hard on this forced cheerfulness. What's your business arrangement with Quang Ha? I sell on commission. Gotta keep those bots moving. They don't earn their keep sitting out in the barge. You don't own most of these drones? Matthew's brows arch up in surprise. Of course not. How could I afford them? I'm so lucky to have a guy like Quang Ha as a partner. Only problem is he got me laughing in stitches so much it sometimes distracts me from sales. Quang Ha's a funny guy, you say? Yeah, I was laughing my ass off over here. Matthew gives you a long, awkward smile. The seconds stretch out. He blinks uncomfortably. When he speaks, his words sound stilted, like he's repeating a mantra. He's a funny guy. Matthew adjusts his suit lapels with mechanical gusto. Phew, what a pep talk, that Quang Ha. I feel like I could take on the world right now. Alright, goodbye, Matthew. Uh-huh.